Yo, it's Monday night, the lights shine bright. Chubby and Johnny bringing the insight. We recap the show, every slam and every throw. In the ring, all the drama, just let it flow. Sit, play tight, let's break it down right. Monday Night Raw, we're running like a clock. Chubby and HotBody, we're ready to rock. Nothing's ever the same. Breaking down the action, we're playing the game. From high-flying moves to the heavyweight brawls, hear the crowd roar as the superstars fall. Chubby's got the laughs, Johnny brings the heat. With every punchline, we roll face and feet. Monday Night Raw, we're running like a clock. Chubby and HotBody, we're ready to rock. In the square circle, nothing's ever the same. Breaking down the action, we're playing the game. So tune next week, keep it locked on the show with Chubby and Johnny. You already know.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday to you and yours. We're live, and it's just me. No HotBody tonight, no blow-up dolls, no nobody else. I think Johnny fell asleep, so I was sitting here like, do I go live? Because I know by myself, it could suck. Usually not alone for these rides, so I like to have somebody to talk to, but I see we got some people in the chat, so you are my people to talk to tonight. We got Earl's back. What's up, Chubby and Johnny? Johnny must be sleeping like a baby. Hopefully not with a blow-up doll. And Larry Jester back in the house. Hello, Chubby and Johnny, whoever else may come through the crowd tonight. Hope all is well. So, you know, it was an interesting show tonight, and Michelle's here. What's up, Michelle? Good evening, Bay. Interesting show. It seems like to me the new format of the last 3 nights of WWE is to put on a lackluster show until the main event and then blow the doors off and have everything happen in the main event. I mean, that's just the feeling I get because like, 3 nights in a row, it was a very lackluster show. But show opened up tonight, and I said this a few weeks back. It's almost every Monday Night Raw, probably at least 2 out of 4 each month. Seth Rollins, Paulie, the whole crew, they're out there to start the show. And it seems they're the ones that really get the most buzz and going with the crowd when they start the show. So I almost was not surprised. The thing I was surprised was there was really no Brock Lesnar tonight. I guess he's going to be on the SmackDown brand. But LA Knight comes out, which I was not overly surprised because I wasn't expecting Punk to get the right away rematch because, as I've said over the weekend, they're going to draw out Punk and Seth to WrestleMania. So wasn't surprised with the whole LA Knight thing. It's elevating LA Knight to that top rung. It's also giving him a shot at the title. And as we get into that match later, I'll say now, I mean, I think he proved himself tonight. They had a great match. But so he comes out, challenges. Seth pretty much blows him off. And then Adam Pearce comes out and makes the challenge official. Now, the funny thing was, as I was watching it, I liked something Adam Pearce put up on Facebook. in the last few days, maybe last week or something. And as I'm sitting there watching Raw, I got an invite from Adam Pearce to follow his Facebook page. So I thought that was kind of comical. Let's see. Earl says, I think Johnny ECW title match was better than most of Raw. And Johnny would definitely agree with you. Next up, we had a backstage segment, Judgment Day. And this actually threw me off, and I want to know if anybody else felt the same way. It was Judgment Day, and the way they portrayed it, I thought it was going to be a six-man tag. I thought it was going to be Dom, Finn, and JD taking on the whole LWO, but it ended up just being Dom and Dragon Lee. So I was a little shocked and confused with that. I was wondering if anybody else was as well. But AJ Styles came in as well and told Dom he's still coming for him. Now, I wonder what the plan is there. Like, I almost think at some point AJ is going to get the strap, because I know they're supposed to send Dom down to AAA, and he's going to be like the face of AAA, and I think he's going to be getting the belt down there. And they announced later in the show tonight that they have the AAA show coming up in a few weeks. So there you go. Yeah. You know what's funny? See, how I wish Johnny was on here tonight, because there was a show in early ECW at the Chestnut Cabaret in Philly, and they started back the feud of HotBody and Stetson. And in the beginning of the show, they came brawling out, and like every couple matches, they come out of the dressing room and they would brawl through the crowd and go around and go back. So that's what that reminded me of tonight. So I was laughing, and it figures tonight's the night Johnny falls asleep, right? Michelle says 20 minutes of Seth and the Walrus and the Goons. Boop, boop, be doop. Larry says, LA Knight, yeah? Triple H, how about nah, you crazy Dutch bastard? Larry says, I missed a bit of Raw because Netflix wasn't working on my phone for some reason. You know, I will say, knock on wood, I really haven't had any trouble. I think maybe one show I had a couple glitches, but overall, since it started, I have not had any problems with Netflix. Jake Walker's in the house. What's up, buddy? He says, hey, buddy. Larry says, well, Raw on Netflix didn't work, but Happy Gilmore 2 and the new WWE show did. Well, there you go. You know, honestly, I'm thinking about doing a show one night about the WWE Unreal, because I would love to discuss that. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, he says Unreal. All right. All right, so next up we had the Rusev Sheamus match. And this was for 3 weeks in a row for those two. The first match out of these three I felt was the absolute best of the three. I thought tonight was the worst of the three. Ends up with a count out, giant pull apart, which we said leads through them coming and fighting all through the show. Now, I'm wondering what they're going to be doing with these two. Obviously, they're going to put them in a feud. Obviously, we're going to get a match with these two on the next PLE. What kind of match is going to be? What's going to be the stipulation? Excuse me. Is going to be 2 out of 3 falls, a cage match, maybe something. There's going to be some type of stipulation to keep these guys in, and being the fact they've had 3 matches, so it's going to be interesting to say the least. And the thing is, too, with these two, I don't think, like, I look at Rusev and he's this big ass shit kicking guy, but I just don't think he's marketable. So, like, I was saying to my fiance, I'm like, do you think people are actually buying Rusev shirts? Like, I that's a serious question. I really want to know. All right, Earl says, but I will say the Becky promo was pretty good. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. Robert Gokenauer, what's up, buddy? I had the same problem. Netflix wasn't working for me either. Also, I'm at work. You know, it's kind of interesting how it works for people, some people, and then, well, I guess, Robert, you were in your phone trying to watch it too, so maybe it was something with the phones tonight. And look at this. The champion, the CWO heavyweight champion that I crowned earlier this evening on Facebook, the one and only Stan the Man Collins. What's up, champ? Michelle says, hey, champ. And also, Michelle's the number one contender. So keep looking over your shoulder there, Stan. Larry says, I think something like Sheamus and Rusev, they need to stage something on social media, or they brawl at a hotel or a restaurant, then keep them fighting on the next Raw until Pierce makes a match. Just have them just brawl in a parking lot of a restaurant and cage them in there. How about that? Be one of them like brawl for it all matches. Next up, we had the New Day, which now I'm starting to like because I'm enjoying this whole gimmick of them in mourning, and Grayson Waller really trying to be a part of the New Day, be the new third member, which I think, I think it's going to happen. We don't know for sure, but I think it would be a nice addition for Waller and the New Day. They obviously need a third person to round it out, and I think he would make it a fun addition as them guys as heels. And Grayson ends up getting, by Adam Pearce, put into a match with Penta, which we're going to talk about next because that was the next match. My good old Upper Darby brother from another mother and my old next door neighbor, Michael Criscola. What's up, buddy? And hey, this guy, he was one of the reasons early on I liked professional wrestling. So he used to look like Michael P.S. Hayes when I was a kid. And he used to chase me around and beat the shit out of me and wrestle me. Stan Collins says, yep, she's the number one contender, talking about Michelle. Larry says, Rusev sitting at Cracker Barrel, eating an omelet, and Sheamus just throws a biscuit at him. That would be hysterical. Look, Larry's writing the skits now. Stan says, first I got to fight the Hogan blow-up dolls. The Hogan it's going to be like, that's going to be the new thing. Hogan blow-up dolls for life. Michelle says, what the hell is with Xavier's giant hat? How fucking over was that hat? I mean, I was thinking to myself, too, when he was standing there at the announcer's table, them poor people behind him, there was probably 5 people that couldn't see because of that hat. Earl says, is Big E able to come back or is never allowed to come back because of the injury? I'm pretty sure he's not able to come back because of his injury. It was that severe. But, it's wrestling. You never say never. They said the same thing about Shawn Michaels. They said the same thing about Edge. So you never know what could happen. Larry says, I actually saw a group of WWE guys walking to a Cracker Barrel once. Adam Copeland came in. The hostess asked him his name. He said, Adam. She told her coworker, yeah, his name is Edge. Yep, the good old days. Hampton Road for life. Let's see. Laugh out loud at his hat, Stan says. Robert Kokenauer says, I believe they need to bring back Rusev Day. See, now that was during, there was a span of about 20 years where I didn't watch wrestling. So I happened to miss Rusev Day. Michelle says, that paid 17 beans for those seats. I'd be pissed. Right? For sure. Yeah. Earl says it looked like a lamp cover. I thought it was a lamp cover at first on his head. Hysterical. But I love this whole New Day morning gimmick. Like, I hated them as heels, and I wasn't getting it. I wasn't into it at all. And now I am. Now I finally am. I'm biting on the morning gimmick. And they got to keep that going as long as possible. Larry says, I wanted to ask for an autograph, but I was like, he's probably busy. This was the mid-2000s or whenever Kazoni was around. Yeah, that was a long time ago. All right, where are we at here? All right, so the Penta Grayson Waller match. I'm happy to see Waller getting a shot. Everything I've seen the guy do, it hasn't been much, but the dude always impressed the hell out of me. And I will say, I felt this was the best match since probably the first Penta match we saw with, what was it, Chad Gable, I think it was. Otherwise, it's been kind of the same rinse repeat matches from Penta, and this one changed it up a little. I would have loved to seen New Day get involved in the actual match, but yeah, it was nice to see Lauer bring a lot more out of Penta, and for Lauer to get that chance, like I see. I want to see where they go with this. I want to see something more done with Penta too. I think Penta has probably one of the best entrances in the company. He's over, super marketable. He's just got a great everything to him. But he's just a guy that's going to win, lose each week. It's going to flip flop back and forth, and no real storyline or nothing. And he needs a nice feud. I mean, he's been in the company now for it's almost 6 months. So let's give that guy a feud. All right. Let's see. Larry says, I like the morning gimmick too. I resonate with it. I lost stuff a while back and still mourning that. We all lost a lot of stuff. He also says, I thought of Big Daddy V when I saw Wood's outfit. I haven't thought of him or heard of that in his name in a while. Excuse me. All right, where are we at? Next up, we had Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss backstage, and this was part of the Rusev Sheamus. They were walking to start heading to gorilla position, and here comes Sheamus and Rusev fighting by, which was kind of funny. And then flash to the next thing, they're heading to the ring to cut a promo, which the promo was bad. The in-ring promo between the two just was not, it wasn't flowing, it wasn't coming off good. And then Roxanne and Raquel came out to challenge, which in turn Adam Pearce made it a match right then and there. And I thought it was a really good match. I enjoyed the match. Was not expecting Charlotte and Alexa to drop the belts yet. They're going to keep the belts on them, I think, for a little bit, see how it goes, see what marketability they have together, this whole we're not friends gimmick that they're doing. They just have to get stuff down a little more smooth because it just wasn't flowing promo-wise. But one thing I want to ask you guys, and I was really starting to think this tonight watching this, I'm starting to think Roxanne and Raquel possibly work better than Liv and Raquel. What's your thoughts? And we still have, I mean, Liv's not supposed to be back until probably end of the year or January. Yeah, Michelle says promo definitely wasn't clicking, and as far as the match, it was really good. Yeah, you know, you can just hear the silence. It just wasn't working. Earl says, I agree with you, Chubby. Now, which part, Earl? On the promo part or the Roxanne and Raquel part? And I really like Roxanne. I really think I think she's a hell of a talent. And she's young. You know, she's got a lot of life ahead of her in the ring, so. My coworker doesn't like Charlotte Alexa thing because he said it's been done before with Hogan and Savage and Matt Hardy and MVP. Like, yeah, exactly, Larry. What hasn't been done? It's very hard to find stuff that hasn't been done. And the worst part is, it wasn't until now, since Charlotte's return, that she was getting over. And this is helping her get over. Excuse me. Stan Man says, I agree with the promo. Not clicking. Oh, cool. Okay, so Earl agrees. He thinks Roxanne and Raquel are working better than Liv and Raquel. And I said this too a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if Earl you caught this, but I said I really think Raquel is coming into her own without Liv. I think Liv took a lot of the spotlight, and she was able to depend on Liv a lot to, be there for her and take a lot of the heat and everything. And she wasn't able to shine. And now that she was, the veteran of the team and she's pushed more in the forefront, she's able to shine. And I think she's stepped up to it. I think she's done a hell of a job without Liv there. Michelle agrees. Roxanne and Raquel are better than Liv and Raquel for some reason. They mesh well together. Yeah, and look, don't get me wrong. I think Liv, out of the three of them, without a doubt, is the best fucking worker, and I think Liv's one of the best workers in the company. But as a team, Roxanne and Raquel are just clicking more. Robert Gokenauer says, might need you, Chubby, to become a writer and producer. I would love to. And actually, I said this when I did it, and it was a few months ago. I actually applied for an AEW position because I found out they had offices here in Nashville. But then I got an email back a couple of days later that the position was on hold and keep tabs and follow up and et cetera, et cetera. Earl says, could you see Judgment Day break up soon? I think the implosion of Judgment Day is coming, but I think it's going to happen when Liv gets back. I think she's going to be the time bomb to blow it all up. Really do. I think, especially if they all drop belts, which would, like, what would happen then? Like, I have a feeling like Liv's going to come back, and then her and Dom will break up. Will she turn face? Will Dom turn face? Will Roxanne and Raquel stay a team? Will they go singles? It's going to be interesting to see what happens for all of them. And the possibilities are always endless. You never know. So next up, we had another backstage promo. Io and the Kabuki Warriors were talking, and in comes Rhea. And they kind of giggled when Rhea came in, and they left Io to be with her new friend. And basically, as they were saying, Rhea wants Io to win the belt back so she can pin Io to get the championship back, since she's never pinned Io. And as I said over this past weekend, this whole thing with Naomi's going to have the belt for a little bit, but I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think it's going to lead to WrestleMania, and I think it's going to be Io and Rhea, where Rhea finally pins Io at WrestleMania and gets the belt. And it's going to be a whole matter of respect with Io giving her the belt. So let's see. Michelle says, Jerry Lynn couldn't help an ECW brother out to get an AEW. Actually, I don't know Jerry. Jerry came way after I left. So if I met Jerry maybe once over the years, so I think I met him once. I think I met him at a convention, if I'm not mistaken. But that was it. So I really don't have a friendship or rapport with Jerry at all. So Earl says, I don't know if you feel this way, Chubby, but this Raw did not feel like the Raw after SummerSlam. It felt like a weekly normal Raw. It did. Very, very lackluster. Now this is my opinion. I think, when you watch the WWE on Real, they show a lot of that debut of WWE on Netflix. And that was a PLE type show, top to bottom, stack show, just the way it ran. And even the celebrities outside were more A-list celebrities than what they have from week to week. Honestly, these celebrities they show each week, I don't know who they are. I really don't. It just shows me I am out of touch. But I don't understand why they're not delivering a higher caliber quality show from week to week. I just don't get it. And it seems the same. SmackDown seems even worse. I mean, I don't watch it. I just get to watch the clips on Friday night after the show's over on YouTube, and it seems like you might have one or two really, really B+ segments, and the rest is just blah. Let's see. Stan says Rhea and Io Sky WrestleMania definitely be awesome moment with Rhea finally winning. Agreed. And think about it. At that point, it would be, I think it's like 2 years since Rhea had the belt, if I'm not mistaken. All right, next up. So we had Dirty Dom taking on Dragon Lee. Really, really fun match. Dom, he delivers every time. He gives you always quality, super solid, fun matches. And it was a fun finish. With now we have 3 El Grande Americanos out there. Who is who? Supposedly, well, we know one is Ludwig Kaiser, one is now Pete Dunne, and who's the third? It's chaos ensued, and I'm guessing they will be all 3 be making an appearance at the AAA show. Which then in turn led to AJ running in as well to make the save. Fun match, solid match. Dom keeps the belt, and we'll see. But I think Dom's days are numbered. I think AJ is going to get the belt. And I did see over the weekend that was going to be AJ's final SummerSlam. So I guess he's looking to retire very, very soon, which is, I mean, I get it, but I wonder why they're not giving him a nice little fanfare run, or if he doesn't want it, if he's truly retiring, or since they're in bed now with TNA, is he going to go work TNA to finish out his career? He's a good dude and a very flat raw. Don't feel bad. I don't know half of them either, but I knew the cast of Wednesday. See, I didn't even realize that. And he's a good dude. I guess you're talking about Jerry Lynn, because I've heard nothing but A+ things about Jerry Lynn forever. Never heard a bad thing about the guy. Larry Jester says, I just agree with the celebrity thing. They say these celebrities, it's like, who? They do what? Well, because a lot of them have these Netflix shows, or they're these hip hop stars, and that's not if I'm listening to any hip hop, it's going to be old school, like, Run DMC or LL Cool J or somebody like that. It's not going to be any of this new stuff, because I have no idea who they are. And yes, showing my age. Michelle says, tall, grande, and venti Starbucks coffee. Yeah, perfect analogy. And Larry says, AJ may just want to put the new guys over. True. At this stage of his career, he's a total team player. He is truly phenomenal. There's no BS there. And help bring the new guys along and give them that extra oomph and training and push. Earl says, I was hoping for Brock tonight. Not that I was hoping for him. I'm really not a big Brock Lesnar fan. And that has nothing to do with the whole court situation. But I just never was a Brock Lesnar fan. I always thought the dude's a fucking monster. He's a beast. He's an ass kicker. And that was it. I just was never really a big fan of his. So, but I am surprised too we didn't get him. All right, next up we had Sami Zayn talking about his match this past weekend with Karrion Kross, and right before this promo segment backstage, I saw on social media thing popped up that this past weekend was Karrion and Scarlett's final match. Their contract ended at SummerSlam. Looks like it's not going to be renewed, which was interesting because they did mention him a lot during the promo. And Sami said, he does want to be world champion. So I see, this is where the booker in me, this whole thing with Karrion Kross, I think that's Karrion Kross's calling, was to be truly a manager, or be like the old school Diamond Dallas Page when he first started. He was a manager and occasionally got in the ring, but he needs to manage Sami Zayn, turn Sami heel, put Karrion and Scarlett with Sami. They have like a little evil faction. I think that would be perfect. I really do. And I think that would be the road to the world championship for Sami, because otherwise he's got a lot of waters to go through to get there. A lot of people in line ahead of him. So, and as this was going on backstage, again, we had Rusev and Sheamus fighting through the camera. So that was pretty funny. All right, next up, we had probably what I felt got the loudest pop of the night. We had the Becky Lynch in-ring promo in which out comes Nikki Bella. They are going back and forth, jabbing at each other, and Becky drops the line about John Cena, which got, I mean, let's face it, before Becky said the Cena comment, this fucking segment was dead in the water. The crowd didn't give two fucks. They didn't care. They were just sitting on their hands, no reaction. When Becky went for it, she went for the jugular, and she threw the Cena line out there. Boom. The crowd popped. That got it going, and that could ignite the whole feud, just that line alone. That's all it'll take. Sometimes, I have a feeling that line was totally scripted. I don't think it was a shoot. I think it was totally scripted. But sometimes you got to go there to get the reaction. They needed it desperately. All right, Michelle says, all right, let's see. We go to Earl first. Earl says, we have Sami versus Rusev next week. Really? Okay. I missed that. Interesting. I'm thinking about this now. Because I like Sami. Sami gives you sometimes absolutely amazing matches. Sometimes, like this past weekend, matches. But I think that's because who he was in there with. But I wonder how he would work with Rusev. That'll be interesting. All right, Michelle says, Karrion is a good mouthpiece. I think he's a great mouthpiece. I love him in a manager role. Each week, him coming out and doing them backstage promos worked. They fucking worked. That's what helped get him to get the little attempted push they gave him. And plus, he was doing stuff, on social media. And he was also, he released a book and he was really pushing his book as well. But all those things worked for him to get those couple shots. But his true calling is doing that. It is being that manager. Let him talk. Let him be that piece of the puzzle. All right, Michelle says, my girl Becky dropped the bomb on Nikki. Yes, she did. She dropped the fucking bomb. And it was needed. It really was. That bomb saved that whole segment and could ignite a really nice feud. All right, Larry just said, I'd rather see Becky defend the title against Natty. Nikki doesn't need to be featured, but I guess she has some popularity. Yeah, I'll jump ahead to that quick segment real quick. I was looking forward to seeing Natty and Becky go at it for next week, and I was kind of bummed when they switched it, when Becky switched it last second. Natty's kind of at that position now too, like AJ, like to push the younger talent, get the younger talent over. And she's doing kind of like this whole more shoot style wrestling out on with GCW. She's been working and stuff. So I would have liked to seen her do that with Becky. So maybe we'll get it at some point. I don't know. All right, what do we have up next? Naomi backstage promo. In comes Stephanie Valkyrie. We're going to have Stephanie and Naomi possibly coming up soon in Paris. We will see. All right, what's Stan say? Yeah, that is great. What Becky said, definitely a big pop. I think that was the biggest pop of the night, actually. I think it was even bigger than Roman Reigns. Larry Jester, could Karrion be something like the the master from WCW's Dungeon of Doom, he just sat backstage or wherever. Absolutely. Absolutely. Why not? He could be like the puppet master from backstage, pulling the strings. There, there's stuff that can be done. There's a look. There's a reason why social media and people were getting behind this guy. There was something there that was connecting with people. His in-ring ability did not connect with people, but his backstage speaking ability absolutely did. And I hear supposedly the guy's a really nice guy, phenomenal guy. His wife, his wife's actually a super talent. I saw her it's like 7 years ago work an indie show in Delaware, Women's Super 8 tournament. And I'm pretty sure she was the one that won and went over. So I got to see her work 3 times that night. Every match fucking blew me away. I was absolutely blown away. And actually, for the local Philly people, that's where I first saw Gabby Ortiz, who also blew me away. And that was why I wanted her on the One and Done show. All right, so we had what we got here? All right, LA Knight and Seth. Oh, there was one other segment. My girl Bailey, can't forget Bailey. Bailey and Lyra, they're not friends no more. They're not enemies. They're nothing. Lyra just wants Bailey to stay away from her, and I think that is the last thing that's going to happen. I think there's going to be a feud between these two for sure. And let's just see. I'm going to say it again. Just turn Bailey heel. Turn her heel. Let's see it. It's time. It's time. All right. Main event time. Let me just run through the comments. Where are we at here? Brandon DJ Immortals in the house. My buddy Brandon was doing shots of tequila with my dude at One and Done. Seeing Brock Lesnar come back blew my mind. Super stoked to see Brock versus Cena. Nice. Larry says, but then my coworker would be like, that's been done before. I was going to say, well, just mention the Hogan blow-up dolls. Michelle says, Carrion could be like the Black Scorpion. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that was also, too, one of the worst things that ever happened to WCW. But, Larry says, Scarlett is awesome. I agree. Earl says, could you see Rhea screw Io next week? I don't think so. I mean, they seem to both be playing it fair and face right now. So I don't see it yet. Could change at any time. All right, so Seth and LA Knight. Great match. For real. Great fucking match. Again, the rest of the show leading up to it was... So once we got to this, LA Knight delivered match-wise. He seems to be getting over more and more each week. Personally, I don't understand why, but that's none of my... If people like him, more power to him and them. Like I said, great match. I was and was not surprised to see Punk come out. I was honestly thinking at that point going into the match that they were giving Punk time off, maybe a week or two after SummerSlam. And I had also heard Roman was going to be done until Survivor Series. Well, I think tonight was going to be the last we see, as we saw at the end. They put him out. But again, nice match. Punk comes out of the crowd, saves LA Knight from getting his head smashed into the concrete, turns into Punk going after Seth, and in come Braun and Bronson. They lay out Punk. LA Knight comes in. They lay out LA Knight. They're celebrating. They're going to the back, getting ready for that selfie moment, and boom, boom, boom. The music hits, Out comes Roman Reigns to make the save for everybody temporarily. And then they got the upper hand and they destroyed Roman as well. And the new gimmick is, how many pairs of sneakers will Bronson Reed steal from Roman Reigns? And what will be the gimmick where Roman gets his sneakers back? There's got to be something to this now. I'm dying. Like I said, we're going to do a sneaker on a pole match. And when I saw him come out the other night with the sneakers around his neck, all I remembered was back in the day, from the area I grew up in like the Philadelphia area. I don't know why people used to do this, but when you were getting ready to throw your sneakers out, when you got new sneakers, you used to tie the laces together and throw them up in the telephone cords. I don't know why, but there used to be sneakers all over hanging off the cords. That's what it made me think of. But anyway, that was tonight's Raw. Lackluster. Should have been a lot more after a 2-night PLA. Let's see. Earl says, will this match set up a fatal four-way between Seth, Punk, Roman, and Knight at Paris? It's interesting. I mean, it could. It totally could. I don't see why not. I mean, they just gave you on the Monday night show a free main event with Seth and Knight. You don't want to kind of repeat that on a PLA. That's an interesting spin. I would go with that. Yep, Larry. He said it. No yeet. I had a big dinner. I needed to yeet off while my roommate looks at me like I'm a drunk, wacky, waving inflatable arms, flailing tube man. That's hysterical. That's fucking hysterical. Yeah, where was Jay at? No yeet tonight. Yeah. I'm gonna say it. I said it last night or the night before. I'm sick of that whole bloodline thing. It's gonna be Bloodline versus Bloodline again. It's Survivor Series. I don't know. All right. Michelle says, the sneaker thing is ridiculous. Are in the hood now and no yeet, man. Stan says, oh God, I hope not. Sounds like the rough years of WCW with everything on a pole match, right? Right? I was actually trying to think of a pole match for one and done. I couldn't come up with anything good. And I didn't know if we had a poll. I think I know why Johnny's not here. He could be not. He was the shortest one that came out at the end. That's where Johnny is. He's the last El Grande Americano. That's hysterical. Well, any other questions and comments? See, we ran through it quick tonight. Ran through the whole show. Any other questions and comments you guys want to throw out there before we sign off for the night? I know it's late for everybody. Larry says, as long as Bronson doesn't melt the sneakers down into a chain like Kama did in the mid-'99 with Taker's. Hey, you never know. It could happen. It could happen. I'll give you guys a few more seconds before I sign off here. Now, I wish I had access to watch SmackDown to come back Friday night. Gotta wait till next Monday. But make sure, everybody, if you haven't, for some weird, odd reason, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Trying to really build this up. Would love to be here every day talking with you. I drop quick videos throughout the days, asking wrestling questions, talking wrestling topics, and also other topics about music, goofy things that come to my head. Also some health stuff. I've gone through some health issues recently, so I give people health updates every day, every other day. It definitely doesn't get higher than a 5 for sure. You're absolutely right, Earl. Absolutely right. Stan, have a good night, champ. Thanks, my dude. Barry says, I missed the IC title in the 90s where the strap would change colors. It was interesting. Well, I'm sure, technically, the champ has the power to do that if they really want to. Ugh. All right, I think I'm going to sign off. I'm going to get ready for bed, too. But, hey, thank you all. Seriously. Thank you all so much for being part of the shows. Subscribe, and let's grow the CWO into something huge. Everybody, be back as soon as possible, and make sure you check out the videos throughout each day. Talk to you all soon. Have a great night.